The Bible isn't just a book of random stories. It's 66 different books that come together to tell one story. An incredible one about God's love for us. And now for an amazing story inspired by the book of Acts, chapter 9, verses 26 through 28.
Barnabas had heard the stories about Saul. Of course he had. Who hadn't? Saul had made it his mission to eliminate followers of Jesus any way he could. He had them thrown in prison. Or worse, Barnabas had heard Saul was there watching the day Stephen was killed just outside the city of Jerusalem.
Lord, don't hold this sin against them.
Yep, Saul was a dangerous man and Barnabas had every right to fear him. But then Barnabas heard another story about Saul, one that changed everything. Saul had traveled to Damascus, hoping to find Jesus followers in the hopes of having them arrested or even put to death. As he approached the city, he saw a light, brighter than the sun, shining all around him.
Saul, why are you opposing me?
Saul fell to the ground.
Who are you, Lord? I am Jesus. I'm the one you're opposing. Now get up. Stand on your feet. I'm appearing to you because I want you to serve me. You must tell others about me. Go into the city and you'll be told what to do.
Saul got up from the ground. He opened his eyes, but he couldn't see. The men he was traveling with had to lead him to Damascus, where Saul refused to eat or drink anything for 3 days. Barnabas was amazed when he thought about that story, but what was even more amazing was what happened next. There was a believer named Ananias living in Damascus at that time, and while Saul was there, going without food and water, Ananias was having a vision from God.
Ananias. Yes, Lord. Go to the house of Judas on Straight Street. There is a man named Saul there who needs you to place your hands on him so he can see again. Saul? Lord, I've heard of Saul. He's come here to arrest people who worship you. If I help him, won't I be in danger? Go. I've chosen Saul to work for me.
And so Ananias went to the house of Judas on Straight Street.
Yes? My name is Ananias. I'm looking for a man named... Come in. He's expecting you.
Ananias cautiously entered the house. And then there was Saul, the man Ananias thought was his enemy. He looked weak and hungry. Ananias put his hands on Saul.
Brother Saul, the Lord has sent me so that you'll be able to see again. You'll be filled with the Holy Spirit.
And right away, something like scales fell from Saul's eyes, and he could see again. Barnabas found himself thinking,
if Ananias could accept Saul, maybe I could too.
And it wasn't just Ananias. After Saul regained his sight and his strength, he spent several days there with the other believers in Damascus. And if they had any doubts that Saul was indeed a changed man, their doubts were relieved when he started preaching in the local synagogues.
I am standing here before you to say that I believe without question that Jesus Christ is the Son of God.
Many who heard Saul believed and began following his teachings very carefully. Now his own people, the Jews, saw that he was gaining power and began to mutter among themselves.
Didn't Saul used to be on our side?
Yes. Isn't he the one who was having those Christians arrested?
Something must be done. He's teaching lies.
So they came up with a plan to have Saul killed. Saul heard of the plan, however, and so his followers helped him to escape the city.
All you have to do is get in this basket, and we'll lower you down through this hole in the city wall. And this is safe? Well, safer than being killed. Oh, good point.
It was that narrow escape from Damascus that brought Saul back to Jerusalem. Barnabas and the other followers were terrified when they heard that Saul was coming back.
You don't really believe he's a follower of Jesus now, do you?
No way. He's trying to trick us. It's a trap.
Barnabas wasn't so sure. Ananias had accepted Saul. The followers in Damascus did too, even Jesus himself if the stories were true. So Barnabas had to make a decision, and he had to make it before...
Hello, are you Barnabas?
Barnabas gulped as Saul stood before him.
Yes. That's right. I am Barnabas. I'm Saul. I know. I've heard of you. Nothing bad, I hope. I'm kidding. Oh, I've changed, Barnabas. I really have changed.
Barnabas tried to imagine what it would feel like if he were Saul, wanting to make friends but not finding anyone who would trust him. So, Barnabas made his decision.
I believe you.
Barnabas took Saul to the apostles, Peter, John, and the others, and he made an impassioned plea on Saul's behalf. He told them how Saul had seen Jesus on the road to Damascus, how Saul had preached bravely in Jesus' name, how he had changed.
And that's why I think we should accept Saul as one of us.
The apostles decided that Barnabas was right, and they welcomed Saul into their company. So Saul stayed with the believers and preached boldly in Jesus' name. Later, Saul, who was also called Paul, would travel to many different cities, preaching the good news with his good friend, Barnabas.